G'day so-and-sos and welcome to my sewing room. My name's Kathy and I have the best bag ever for us to make today. This is my most favorite bag that we have made so far. I'm just so excited about it. Now I drafted this one up and I have put internal panels of decovil in it that just give us this beautiful shape and structure to this bag. It is just so good, and the hardware is just really sets it off. So if you're going to make it along with me, I really recommend that you do all the hardware and everything the same that I have. And yeah, we're just going to have a heap of fun with this one. Okay, let's get cracking. Let's check out what we need for today's project. So good cutting mat, couple of acrylic rulers, pinking shears if you've got them, scissors, rotary cutter, snippers, a couple of different marking tools. You'll need a heap of clips, 33 inches of zipper tape, some rivets, 2 number 5 zipper heads, 4 1-inch rectangle rings, 4 1-inch strap ends, and some purse feet. And I've also got some double-sided sticky tape which will help me make my handles. If you don't have any, you can just make do with some clips. Okay, let's have a look at my fabric, vinyl and interfacing. Let's check out our fabric, our vinyl and our interfacing. Now I'm using vinyl for my exterior and then a cotton woven for the interior. If you just want to use a cotton canvas for the outside, that would be fine as well. All the pattern pieces are in a link in the description box, and on top of that we'll be cutting out some rectangles for our interior slip pocket and our straps, and the measurements for that would be in the description box as well. So make sure you've got those all printed out and everything else. And then let's look at what I'm using. So I'm so excited. Mugwise, so cute. Now this vinyl is from Ella Jewel in Australia. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. They're not giving me free stuff. I just think it's freaking awesome. So I'm happy to do a shout out for them. So cute. So with my vinyl exterior bits, I'm going to be interfacing all of them with a medium interfacing called buckram. Now you use what you've got, but keep this in mind. Buckram has a weave, so sort of like a cotton canvas. You can sort of see the weave in it, as opposed to something like decovil that's just, you know, all one solid piece like paper or cardboard. So this is going to let it sort of wrap around and form that dome shape without getting crinkles or anything else in it. So think about that when you're picking your interfacing. But yeah, a medium, preferably with a weave. So I've cut out 2 of my outside bits from my awesome Mogwai vinyl, and then also 2 of my lining pieces out of that same pattern piece. And I've got a light iron-on interfacing for the lining. And then for the base of my bag, I'm using a black vinyl just as a bit of a contrast, again with buckram. And then the same piece for the lining with a light interfacing. And then I have 2 rectangles out of my lining for my slip pocket. These are 16.5 by 6.5, and they have light interfacing. And then I have my strap pieces. These smaller ones are going to be on the bag. They are 7.5 by 2. It'll all be in the description box and I'll pop it up. And these are 4 by 20, and I've cut out 2 of those. Now then our decovil pieces. So these pattern pieces will also be in the description box. So my decovil bits, we're going to go through how to put these on in a minute, but I have 2 of those roundish dome pattern pieces. And then I have 4 of the triangle ones, and this is where those pinking shears come into place. I've cut these ones out of the pinking shears. If you wanted to do these as well, you could, that's fine. It would probably be a good idea actually. But 4 of these, so 2 of them I've cut that way with the exterior on this side and the glue facing me. And then the other 2 I've cut the other way. So I've cut them mirrored. So they will have the outside on this side and the glue on this side. So let's walk through how to put those on our exterior pieces. So I have my exterior pieces, my decovil, ruler, chalk and scissors, and I'm just going to work on one at a time. So I'm going to find my centers. So I'm going to fold my piece in half, give myself a center snip at the top and bottom, and then fold it in half this way, marking up those top and bottom center snips, and then giving myself a little snip on each side, like that. Then I'll do the same thing to my roundish half circle decovil piece. So top and bottom and sides. Now, if you don't have decovil or you can't get hold of it wherever you are, you can just find a medium to heavy type interfacing that doesn't have a weave in it. So like I said with my buckram has a weave, but this one is more like a paper. So that's what you sort of want to help give you that support in your dome shape. Then I'll turn him over, grab my ruler, line up those center snips, give myself a line, and then same that way. Then I'll grab my decovil, make sure I'm glue side down, and line up my center snips with those marks as best I can. Then grab my iron. Now I've got my iron fairly hot, and just leaving it a few seconds at a time. Now decovil can be a little bit trickier, I've found. You can think that it's ironed on really well, but then when it cools down, it peels off a little bit as you're flipping your bag in and out, because we do sort of turn it in and out a few times. So really make sure that it's on there well. Now with our side pieces, grab my ruler again, and I'm going to measure up 1/2 inch from my bottom edge, give myself a chalk line, and then 1/2 inch along this side as well. And just give myself a chalk line from around about that halfway mark where that other chalk line is. We just need it as a guide, and 1/2 inch on that side. Cool. Then grab my decovil, make sure it's glue side down, and I want the straight edge to be on the outside. So I'll have my bottom piece lining up with the chalk line on the bottom, and my straight edge lining up with the chalk mark on the side, so that my, I don't know math, whatever the angled side is on there, the middle bit, whatever that angled side's called. And then give that some heat as well. Little rub, make sure it's on. And then same thing on this side. Make sure you're grabbing a piece that lines up with a straight edge on your chalk mark and straight edge on your chalk mark. You don't want to glue the wrong piece on, because that would suck, because it just is going to be hard to get off. Okay, and then that is all my decovil pieces on, and I will do the other piece exactly the same. Let's look at getting these handles done. So I've got my 2 short pieces of handle, ruler, scissors, double-sided tape, chalk, one of my exterior pieces, and 2 of my rectangle rings. So I'm going to place one of my short handles right side down in front of me, grab my ruler and measure up 1 inch from the bottom and give myself a chalk line. And then whack some double-sided tape along that. So my chalk line is centered. It is 1 inch up and my strap is 2 inches, so it's centered. take this tape off and then fold up that bottom long edge to meet that chalk line. Now, if you don't have tape, you'll just have to start whacking some clips on there. So I'm starting in the middle of my vinyl, and that sort of helps it stay even and not sort of twist or stretch too much. And fold that up to meet the midline. Spin him round and then fold up the other long end to meet the middle, like that. Cool. Now I'm just going to snip the very corners off one end like that. And then I'm going to just give myself maybe half an inch, a strip of 1/2 inch long tape, which I'm getting stuck on everything. And I'm going to pop it up on that end where the corners I just snipped off are and take that off. Cool. Grab one of my rectangles. Now making sure that the end where they join, where the gap is or the weld mark is going to be on the same side as my raw edges. Then I'm going to fold that top over, use my grid on my mat to measure 1 inch. So this back bit here is going to be 1 inch long. And taking those corners off will just help it look better from the front. So that's what it looks like. Then going to grab maybe 1.5 inches or so of double-sided tape. Don't run away. Put that on the back of that handle, the side where the raw edges are, the wrong side. Take that backing off. Come on. There we go. Okay. Then I'm going to grab my exterior piece and have it so it's right side up and the long edge is towards me. And I'm going to measure in 2.5 inches from the center snips to my left. So I've got that line running from center snip to center snip, 2.5 inches. Then I'm going to grab my little short handle and I'm going to place it on, but I'm going to leave about 1/4 inch hanging down along the bottom because I want that caught up in the seam later on, and then press that down. Now, if you're using all cotton woven, you'll be able to whack some pins in. If you're not using sticky tape and you're using vinyl, just whack some clips along the bottom, but you're going to have to sort of adjust when you get over to the machine. So that's what it looks like. And then I'll prepare the other one exactly the same, and then I'll measure 2.5 inches to the right of the center snips and then place this one.
Head over heels for that someone. Head for the hills for nothing. Running, scared, screaming at the top of my lungs. In my many minds, my heart doesn't always agree. What I'm thinking inside. Think about it, your gut can lie. Like when you're hungry but it hurts to eat. Do you actually wanna die? No matter how bad it tastes, I want it. Here's a metaphor for my life. I'm eating McDonald's to get healthy. Tell me how that makes sense.
Okay. So when I do this with this one, I'm going to look at the top. So where my ruler is lining up with the one that I've already placed, because I want to make sure that the top of that is in line with this one. So I still want it that 1/4 inch hanging down the bottom, but it's more important to me that they are lined up even on the top so that my rectangle rings are as much in line with each other as I can possibly get. Cool. So that is what they look like. Now I'm going to take this over to the machine and we're going to stitch up one side and then stitch up the other on both sides at around 1/8 of an inch. I'm not going to go across the top underneath that rectangle ring. I don't think I need to. If you want to, by all means, go ahead and do that. But I just don't want that aesthetic. I don't want that line. And then I'm going to pop some rivets in there anyway. So let's go and do that. Top stitching, so stitch length at around 4.5. I'm using a zipper or a 1/8 foot and a Teflon type foot as well. A couple of back stitches and back. Lining up the outside of my foot with the vinyl. So I'm at about 1/8 of an inch. And I'm just going to carefully go up the side. Now when I get to the top, I'm going to take it easy. Drop in 1 or 2 extra stitches there. Back stitch for 1 and then come back up over for 1. If you don't have a 1 stitch button like I do, just use your flywheel. So I'm going to do all the sides exactly like that, being careful when I get up to that metal bit at the top and trying to line up those stitches as best I can so I finish evenly at the top on each side.
I wish that I could cough out my emotions in a healthy manner and just become the right person that actually matters. And every day I drive my car to my little job and I find some peace in the stations that I throw on. But I wish there was a song with your name as the title. Oh yeah, I wish there was a song with your name as the title. Oh yeah.
That part is done. So there's the first part of our handles done. Now I'm going to pop these to one side and grab my long handles, long ruler, chalk and tape. So grab one of my handles, right side down on my table in front of me and measure up 2 inches from one of the long edges, just the same as what we did before. And then I'm going to whack some tape along that chalk mark. And actually I'll probably need my my clips as well and some scissors. Cool. So take that off. And then just same as what we did before, we're just going to fold in each long side to that center mark. So again, starting in the middle because I'm using vinyl, it just helps it stay even and less twisties like that. Now you don't want to swipe and stretch your vinyl because most vinyl has stretch. Not all of it, but some of it. So you just don't want to stretch it. And then that bottom edge. Cool. So I'll grab my clips, go, and then I'm going to fold it in half towards my raw edges. So my raw edges will be in the middle. And just fold it in half again. Just trying to line up that folded edge as best I can. So now our strap will be 1 inch wide, and that's what we want. And just clip it all the way down the end. And then I'll do exactly the same thing to my other one, and then we'll take them over to the sewing machine and sew down the sides at 1/8 of an inch. Now I'll start on my side that is folded, and I'll start at the top, sew down that folded side, and then I'll come back up to the top and start at this end and sew down that side. I'll get this one prepped and then we'll go do that.
Take me back to California. I wanna go back to 2018. I wanna go back to when I was happy. So take me back to California, please. Take me back.
Okay, so that's this one done as well. Let's head over to the machine. Okay, I'm still top stitching, so my stitch length is still around 4.5, and I want to be 1/8 of an inch, or that side of my foot lined up with the vinyl, with the outside of the vinyl. And I just want to start with those edges nice and lined up. Start with my needle in my work, little back stitch, and just stay nice and consistent with the side of that foot against the side of my vinyl all the way down. Done. Let's go get those attached. Let's put our hardware on our handles and get them attached to our bag. So I've got my long handles, my exterior pieces, rivets, strap ends, and I've got my rivet presses handy. So first of all, let's attach these strap ends. So I'm going to find what is the top of my strap. Now your top stitching will look a little bit different on one side, and that will be your top side. So it will look better. So just pick whatever side looks better. So I'm going to slide my strap end on. So the shiny side without the holes is on the top side, on my pretty side. And then I'm just going to put the screws in the back. So line it up so it's on there nice and even, and whack your screws in. So I'm not going to do both sides at this stage. I'm going to just do one, and then we'll put it on, and then we'll do the other. like that. So that's one end on. Then I'm going to grab one of my exterior pieces, place it right side up in front of me, and then I'm going to have my strap so that that strap end is up this end and the pretty side is down. Then I'm going to slide it through that rectangle ring, pull it up, and then fold it over so that my pretty side of my strap end is going to be on the back like that. Okay, so I'm going to measure up around 1 inch so that I have it folded over about 1 inch. So I've got 1 inch including the strap end at the back, and then I'll whack a clip on there and show you. So it's like that. So from the front and then at the back, I've got 1 inch folded over, and the shiny part of my strap and the nice side is at the back like that. Okay. Then I'm going to grab my ruler and my chalk. Cool. I'm going to measure up 1/2 inch from the top of the rectangle. So I'll be about halfway between the top of the rectangle hardware and the bottom of the hardware of that strap end. So I don't have that much room to maneuver, so I want to be careful. So I'm kind of eyeballing it as well. I'm using my ruler to help me, but I'm also eyeballing it. And then I'll whack that clip back on there right at the top. Cool. Now, I'll get my hole punch. When you do this, do not just whack all your work under there, or you're going to punch a hole through your exterior piece. Fold your exterior piece down out of the way so you are only punching a hole through your strap. And then line it up, make sure you're happy with it. You're going to have enough room either end, and crunch. And then whack a rivet in there. Cool. So I'm using 8mm rivets too. Whack the back on there just to hold it in place. Make sure I'm happy with how that looks. Grab my press. Oh, it's so heavy. You don't need 2 of these things, of course. I just don't like to swap out my dies while I'm filming. I can take my clip off now. Make sure that's seated properly in the bottom and give it a little press. Cool. So that's what I look like. Now I'm also going to whack a rivet in this part underneath the rectangle ring. So I'm going to measure down from there, from that top, or from the bottom edge of that rectangle ring, about the same. 1/2 inch, and I want it centered, so I'm 1/2 inch in from either side. So I'm placing my ruler so the 1 inch lines are on either side of my handle, and then I've got that 1/2 inch line running down the middle to show me where my center is if you can't eyeball it. Grab my hole punch, and of course it's okay to go through the exterior piece at this point because it's all attached. Punch a hole in there and another rivet through there. Backing piece. Oh, so pretty. It looks so good. Get my press. Now, if you haven't used a press before, I have got a video up on them and how to use them. How pretty is that? Oh, love it. Okay, so making sure that you don't have any, oh, let's get them out of the way. Oh, that's so heavy. Okay, making sure that your strap isn't twisted around anywhere. Take it through your other rectangle ring. Pop your strap end on there so that the pretty side is going to be at what is now the back, and whack some screws in there. Make sure they're up the right way, Catherine Ann. Blind as a bat. Okay. So if you are watching for fun at this point and you haven't used hardware or a rivet press, it is so easy. It really is. It's a little bit to get your head around learning something new, but so worth it. Okay, cool. And then same thing with this one. I will measure up about 1 inch to make sure I have it folded over. About 1 inch, so I've got enough room to whack my rivet in. There we go. Whack a clip on there to hold it. And I'll just look at the other side and see if they look even as well. Cool. Okay, same thing, measure up 1/2 inch, find my chalk. So measuring up 1/2 inch from the top of that rectangle ring, lining up my ruler on the 1 inch line so it's all centered and I can give myself a dot in the middle. And then while I'm here, I might as well measure down and give myself a dot for the other one as well. So 1/2 inch down from the bottom of the hardware. So I'll have all my dots on there, and then I will have a look and look if it looks even. Hole punch, do the top one first, and I'm going to make sure I'm folding my work down out of the way. You don't want to punch a hole in that. Line that up. Make sure that looks good, that my bottom hasn't slid around on me or anything like that. Kind of hard to do sitting down. There we go. And I can make sure that top bit is not going to get my way. That's better. Whack a rivet in there. And while I'm here, I'll give myself that other hole. There, that looks good. And whack a rivet in there. Now you can get little handheld rivet presses. They do require a little bit more hand strength though. So I prefer these ones. Whack that one in there. Whack the back on. Grab this one and set those rivets in place. So getting my exterior piece out of the way for that top one. There we go. And then that bottom one. Oh, love it. Love this bag. There we go. And then our strap ends on the back. So when our bag is sitting down on a table or whatever, and our handles fold down, then we've got those nice strap ends covering our raw ends. I'll do the other one exactly the same.
all the bad ones. I remember when college seemed so important, but is it worth it? Been wondering what truly matters to me. I know for sure it's not a fancy degree. I'd like to do what I love, but what if I'm not good enough? Split personality, sometimes sour, sometimes sweet. An M. Night Shyamalan story called Everything's Peachy. Can we just skip straight to the plot twist, please? Life's all about balance, and real love takes practice.
And last one. So pretty. Oh, how pretty does that look? It looks like a bag already. I'm so excited. I freaking love this bag. Okay, so that is all of the fiddly stuff done. Now it's just smooth sailing. Let's get our shoes on. So I have got my purse feet, my bottom panel, a screwdriver, seam ripper, pen, and also my pattern piece. And your pattern piece will have 6 dots on it, and that's your markings for your purse feet. So I'm going to find my centers on my bottom panel on all sides. So all 4 centers. So fold it in half one way and then the other way, and give yourself the tiniest little snips. This end and that end. Now I've gone ahead and used my seam ripper and made some holes. I've just poked my seam ripper through those dots. So I'm going to place my panel right sides down, grab my pattern piece and place it over the top. Then grab a texter or Sharpie, whatever you want to call it, and just do a little squiggle over where I've got those holes, just enough to give me a little bit of a mark on the back of my piece there. Just like that. Cool. Now I'll use my seam ripper and just give myself some slits along where those holes are. Now just go nice and slow. It's better to have to come back and make them a little bit bigger than make them bigger than what you want. And the purse feet I'm using today actually screw in rather than just sort of fold open with prongs. So I'm going to have to make mine a little bit bigger and just be a little bit more careful. And hope that I've got the right screwdriver. Adrian come in and pinched all his screwdrivers back. Rude. I was using them. Okay. Cool. So purse feet. Poke my screw through the back. And then that bit on the front. So I jinxed myself when I said the fiddly bit was over, didn't I? There we go. Just had to get that going right. Shoes. Now I'll do the other 5.
I need an intervention, divine intervention, you know. Only in my crucial moments do they pay attention carefully. The shadows of my past welcome me again with a smile. But something deep within, something new, lets me emerge from my cocoon. I only have what's right in front of me. Only you know what is right for me. Compromise, compromise, compromise. Improvise, improvise, improvise. I mean a nice vacation and pure introspection.
There we go. Totally worth it though. Those shoes. Totally jinxed myself when I said the fiddly bits were over, didn't I? Jeez. Okay, now we're going to get the bottom panel attached to the exterior. So I've got one of my exterior pieces laying in front of me, right sides up with the long bottom edge towards me. Then I'm going to grab my bottom panel. The longest edge I'm going to place along the long part of the bottom of the exterior, right sides together. So pretty side to pretty side. And I'm going to match up my center snips and then clip that along the bottom, and I'll show you. So the longest edge of my bottom panel piece is that way, and then the short edges are that way, and I've got it clipped up. So you can see how we've got those little handle bits that we left a little bit longer, overhanging a little bit, and that's because we want that caught up in our seam allowance. Now I'm going to take that over to the sewing machine and stitch this down at 3/8 of an inch. Then while I'm there, I'm going to then open it up and top stitch along the exterior bag edge as well, but I will show you while we're there. If you wanted to, you could bring it back to the table, try and force that seam down a little bit, iron it, but I really think I'll just be able to finger press it under and then top stitch it over there. So I'll show you while we're there. So let's go do that. Okay, I'm going to shorten my stitch length to around 3.5, and like I said, I want to be at around 3/8 of an inch. So we've got a really decent seam allowance here. Start with my needle in my work and make sure that I backstitch. Now, if you need a hump jump to get up over where your handles are, then use one. And just nice and slow so that you're nice and consistent all the way across. Up over that handle. And then backstitch. Cool. Now I'm going to fold this seam up like that, because I want to top stitch on my exterior piece. So I'm just going to wiggle and finger press that seam up like that. I'm going to lengthen my stitch length to 4.5 because I'm now top stitching. Get my foot in place at 1/8 of an inch. Start with my needle in my work. Feel along that seam, little back stitch, and then really carefully start top stitching across here. And just keep readjusting and making sure that seam is folded under. This is going to reinforce everything, make that end, this seam sort of look nice and flat and sit properly and look pretty. Cool, let's go prepare the other side. So there's the panel sewn onto one of our exterior sides. Let's now do the other one. So I'm going to have this piece that I've just worked on in front of me with the bottom panel closest to me. Grab my other exterior bit and place it right sides together on top of that bottom panel. Line up those center snips and whack some clips along this edge. So I'm going to do the same thing. 3/8 of an inch, and then I'll flip it over, push the seam up towards the exterior piece, and then top stitch just along that length of where the bottom panel is. So that is what it looks like as we're taking it over to the sewing machine. So let's go do that. Okay, I'm going to shorten my stitch length back down to around 3.5. And start just where that bottom panel lines up at about 3/8 of an inch. Start with my needle in my work. And same thing, just stay nice and consistent all the way across. If you need a hump jump to get over these handle ends, then use one, back stitch. Okay. Now don't forget to lengthen your stitch length because we're now going to top stitch, so up to 4.5. And I'm going to fold that seam up towards my exterior piece. So you have to wrestle with it a little bit, and that's fine. You can take it back over and iron it, but I don't think I need to. If you're using cotton woven, it'll be a lot easier to take it over and iron. Okay, start right up where that bottom panel starts, needle in my work, foot down, stitch length 4.5, and just nice and consistent, lining up the side of my foot with the edge of the fabric. Little back stitch. Use a hump jump here if you need to. If you don't have a hump jump, you can just fold up a bit of fabric and place it under the back of your foot, just to lift the back of your foot a little bit to help you get over these bumps. Up over that one and just to the end of the bottom panel. Don't go all the way across. Back stitch. Done. That is our exterior pieces all sewn together. Now let's start working on this lining. So I've got my 2 long rectangles. These are going to be my slip pocket. So I'm going to place them right sides together and I'm going to clip along the top. So one of those long edges. If you're using directional fabric, have a little think about that as well, which way you want it to be and which way you want the top. So clipped like that. Take it over to the machine and we're going to sew just along that top edge at around 1/4 of an inch. Righto, my stitch length is around 3.5. Now you see that I've changed over my colour thread to an orange to match my lining, so have a think about that. I've changed to my foot and I've cleaned my needle. So little back stitch, and I'm at about 1/4 inch. So because we used so much tape and stuff to do our handles, my needle got a bit gunked up with the sticky tape. So I've just used an alcohol wipe to give it a clean, and I made sure that my machine was off before I did that. Don't ever do that while your machine is on. And back stitch. Too easy. So there we are sewn together. Now let's turn it right sides out, put our pieces wrong sides together. So we just have the one sort of long piece, and give that a bit of a hit with the iron up along that seam. And then we're going to take it back over to the machine and just top stitch along that edge at around 1/8 inch. Okay, so my stitch length is around 4.5 because I'm top stitching, and I'm around 1/8 inch, and back stitch. And just stay nice and consistent along this top edge all the way across. Just like that. Now let's go clip it on to one of the lining pieces. So there's our slip pocket top stitch down. Now I'm going to grab one of my lining pieces, and I've folded it in half, and I've marked the center, top and bottom, lay it in front of me, and I've folded my slip pocket in half, and I've clipped the bottom corner to mark my center, but I'm actually going to give myself a little chalk mark at the top as well to mark my center on that top side. Cool. Lay my lining in front of me with the long edge towards me, and it's right sides up. I grab my slip pocket and place it on top with those bottom snips, center marks lined up like that. Then I'm going to grab some clips and just whack some clips down along the bottom, just at the edges for now. So just at that edge and that edge. Then grab my ruler and line up my ruler with those center snips on my lining piece. And it should line up where I've got that chalk mark on my pocket piece. Just going to give myself a faint line on my pocket to mark the center, because I'm going to give myself a split slip pocket. So it looks like that. And then whack some more clips along the bottom to hold it in place, and just up at these top corners like that. Now, if you just want one long pocket, that's fine. Just don't sew down this middle bit. Cool. Now we're going to take this over to the machine. And when I have it at the machine, I'm going to have it from the back facing up. And I'm going to sew along that lining edge, like around that curve, so that I make sure I'm catching the pocket as well. If I just did it from the pocket side, I would miss that back bit. And then I'm going to sew down that chalk line that I made. And I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way to the top so that it doesn't bunch up on me. Okay, my stitch length is around 3.5, and I'm going to be about 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to start up on the curve. So I've got my work with the wrong side up, so I can work around that curve. I'm going to start at the top of that slip pocket and work my way down to the bottom, staying at around 1/4 inch as I go. Maybe another stitch there, I know. I'm going to make sure I catch that bottom bit. Along the bottom, this will get caught up in the seam allowance when we attach the bottom panel. So if I'm a little bit wider, it doesn't matter. up to that end, pivot with my needle in my work, and then up around this curve and backstitch. Cool, now I can flip it over and do that middle seam. So like I said, I'm going to start at the bottom, find that chalk mark. Now I'm top stitching, so I'm going to lengthen my stitch length to around 4.5. Backstitch, bump the camera, and just work my way up that chalk line. Give myself a good backstitch here because it'll have some stress on it when I'm putting stuff in and out of the pocket. Cool, that's our pocket attached. Let's take it over to the table and clip on this bottom panel. So there's our pocket sewn on. Now I'm just going to trim down the excess bits of pocket on the side, and actually I don't want to snip my corners, do I? Just get that little bit extra. Don't take off too much, like don't go into your seam allowance because we still need to attach our zipper and everything. So just the pocket bit. Okay, so grab our bottom panel and find our centers the same way that we did on the exterior bit. And give ourselves a little snip. And then the other way as well. Fold it in half and find our snips, our centers. And then while I'm at it, I'll do my other lining bit as well. So I've got it ready. Fold it in half and then top and bottom. Okay, our lining bit's going to go together a little bit differently because we don't need to top stitch and stuff like that. So grab my piece with my pocket on it, place it in front of me with the long edge facing me and it's right side up. Grab my bottom panel and with the long edge lining up with the long edge of my lining piece, place them center snips together, right sides together. So I can see the back of my bottom panel and whack some clips along there. Now, because I don't need to worry about folding it over and top stitching and it's not stiff because it's not vinyl, I'm going to attach my other bit as well. So I'm going to turn it up the other way, open up that bottom panel, grab my lining and place it over the top, so straight edge to straight edge. So the curved bit of this bit is facing me and they're right sides together. Line up those center bottom snips and whack some clips on there as well. So it will look like that. And then if you open it up, it will look like that. Cool. Then one side at a time, going to go over and sew those on at 3/8 of an inch. I've shortened my stitch length to around 3.5 and I'm going to be at around 3/8 of an inch. Backstitch. And then just all the way across. Little backstitch at the end. And then the other side, just flip him over. And around 3/8 of an inch, making sure that I'm to this way, the inside of those previous stitches of where we attach the pocket. Start with my needle in my work, little backstitch, and all the way across. Too easy. Now we're going to attach our zipper to our exterior. Now we're going to grab our zipper tape, fold it in half and just give ourselves a bit of a chalk mark along there just to mark our centers a little bit. Then I'm going to pull my zipper in half. I just love this bit, it's just so much fun. Grab one of my ends, fold that handle down so my work is right side up. Find my center of my zipper and I'm going to place my pennel and my zipper tape right sides together. So the teeth are going to be against the bag. I'm going to line up the end of that tape. So it's the side, the edge of the tape that doesn't have teeth. And I'm clipping that to the top of my bag. I'll show you. I'm sure you know what I mean. If you're making this bag, then I'm guessing you know what I mean, but just in case, because it can be confusing if you haven't done a zipper like this before. So I've got the top of the zipper tape lined up with the top of the bag, so the teeth are down the bottom, and the teeth are right sides together with the bag. Okay, now I'm going to give myself some snips. So I've just clipped it up along that center mark. But where that zipper tape is going to curve around my bag, I'm just going to give myself some little snips into the top of that zipper tape, only about 1 millimeter, say a little bit more than an eighth of an inch down. So not too far down because you'll see them, but just enough to help that zipper tape get around those curves a little bit, because we don't want it to bunch up. We want our zipper tape to lay nice and consistently around it, because the zipper on this bag is such a feature. Because it goes all the way down, it really is a feature of this bag. And we're not worrying about putting the zipper heads on yet either. They will go on in a little minute. Cool. Then I'll just keep working all the way around and just putting a heap of clips on here. Now, if you've made a bag like this before and you are confident, then you could lay your lining right sides together on top of this once you've got the zipper on each end, and sandwich your zipper tape and have it all ready to go. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just pop my zipper on like I'm going to show you. We're going to put the zipper tape on the exterior piece and we're going to baste that on nice and close to the edge. And then we'll add our lining afterwards, just so we are going nice and easy and not making any mistakes. And you'll find that your zipper tape is about 1 inch or so, maybe a bit longer, long on each end, and that's how we want it, because we want enough room to put our zipper heads on and yeah, just make life easier. So I'll do this end and show you what it looks like, and then I'll do the other side. Almost there. So I'm actually going to put some more snips in there. So if you find you haven't snipped all the way up around your curve, whack some more snips in there. And just plenty of clips or pins if you're using pins, if you're using all fabric. Then plenty. I just find clips so much easier, even when I'm working with all cotton. They're just easier to pull off at the sewing machine. And I stick pins myself. I'm just, I don't know, clumsy. Special. I'm special, that's what I am. So whack some more clips around there. All the way down to the end. Cool. Like that. Now I'll do the other end exactly the same.
And the moods that I hate, I tend to embrace. Wonder why I'm so opposite, I'm so backwards and upside down. I'm such a clown, but I've got no frown on my little face. Why am I so freaking cute sometimes, yeah? I'm such a drama queen, I'm such a drama queen. And I wish there was a song that I could make that'll make you strong. 'Cause I'm tired of feeling low and sad.
Okay, that looks good to me. So going to take this over to the sewing machine, and like I said, we're just going to baste it on. So that just means we're going to sew really nice and close to the edge. And then when we sew the lining on, we'll sew in a little bit further, and that'll be like our stitch line. Okay, let's go do that. Okay, so I've shortened my stitch length back down to around a 3.5, and I've changed back over to my zipper foot. Now I'm going to stay right on the edge. So I'm lining up the side of my foot with the side of the fabric and tape, and backstitch a little bit, and just very carefully work my way around, just staying nice and close to the edge. And like I said, when we attach the lining, then we'll come in a bit closer to the teeth. That is our zipper in place. So there's my zipper tape sewn onto my exterior, and I'm loving how this looks. Okay, going to lay it long ways in front of me, fold that handle down out of the way, grab my lining and place my lining right sides together on top. So pretty side to pretty side. Find those snips, my center marks along the top, and match them up and whack a couple of clips on there. Now use plenty of clips for this bit, and a couple more there. Then I'm going to find my bottom corners and whack some clips on there so that I know that my bottoms are going to line up. And make sure your zipper tape is sort of folded in and down out of the way. Your zipper tape will want to curl up on those curves as you clip. Just make sure you're folding it down out of the way as you go. And I'm just going to whack a heap of clips on all the way around, and then I will spin it around and do the other end as well, exactly the same.
too long now. I think that I want a second guess you, a second guess me, a second guess them. Don't second guess me. Live in the moment, cause we are so free. And in this moment, life is like a dream. Live in the moment, cause we are so free. And in this moment, life is like a dream. So come a little closer, but don't hold your breath. Silence in the background, violence in your eyes now.
Remember that time you gave your heart to me. Remember that time when life was like a dream.
You know what I know. You know what I know. I need to hold you close to me, to me, to me, to me, yeah.
Okay, I think I'm good. Right, now I'm going to take that back over to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew from the lining side and I'm going to get nice up and close to those teeth. Well, not too close, but you know what I mean. So I'm probably going to be about 1/4 of an inch in seam allowance and probably around 1/8 of an inch, bit more away from those teeth. So let's go and do that bit. So I've got my work lining side up. I'm at around 1/4 of an inch and my stitch length is around 3.5. Going to back stitch here and then just carefully work my way around. Now these fingers are feeling where my zipper tape is and I've just got a little bit of a gap between the side of my foot and my zipper tape and my zipper teeth. Don't want to be too close, but not too far. And just try and stay nice and consistent all the way around.
Head over heels for that someone. Head for the hills for nothing. Running, scared, screaming at the top of my lungs. And my many minds, my heart doesn't always agree. What I'm thinking inside. Think about it, your gut can lie. And when you're hungry but it hurts to eat, do you actually wanna die? No matter how bad it tastes, I want it. Here's a metaphor for my life. I'm eating McDonald's to get healthy. Tell me how that makes sense. And I think I heard Bigfoot. Did he run away? I don't know. I would have invited him in my tent so we can drink some miso soup. It's dangerous. In peace. No. And talk. Don't do that. About conspiracy theories. Maybe all night. I wonder if he believes in alien. We could look at the stars together. What if he is an alien? What if we actually...
And done. Exciting. So there it is, our pieces sewn together. Now I'm going to turn it out. So we're going to open up that side bit that we didn't sew, grab an edge and just gently start pulling it out.
How long can you hold onto your breath for? It's been too long now. I think that I want a second guess you, a second guess me, a second guess them. Don't second guess me. Live in the moment, cause we are so free. And in this moment, life is like a dream.
Man, that was harder than it should have been. Okay, I'm going to use my fingers just to push up around that zippered edge get that zipper out all the way around. And if you find that you've missed anywhere, this is like a good time to check. So check properly that you've caught it all the way around. Cool. Now, iron and ironing mat. Okay, whack my ironing mat under there so I don't melt my cutting mat like I did earlier because I didn't use it. Okay, I'm going to squish down this seam, that little seam at the zipper, and just give it a little bit of a hit with the iron just to try and get it sitting down a little bit. Now, you're not going to get it perfectly sitting down doing this, but we just want it down just a little bit to help us, and then we're going to clip it. And then once it's all clipped, then we'll take it back over to the sewing machine and top stitch it. So I'm just going to take my time and just iron this seam down all the way around on both pieces.
Reminiscing the good old days, remembering to forget all the bad ones. I remember when college seemed so important, but is it worth it?
Okay, grab my clips and I'm just going to start clipping all the way around the edge of my zipper tape. So I'm going to just finger press where I've already ironed that down and whack my clips on just to help hold that in place. Now I'm placing it so my clips are the curved side of my clip on the exterior, so facing up towards me. My exterior is right side up so that they're easy to pop off at the sewing machine when we go and top stitch this down in a moment. So I'm just going to work my way around, fold that seam down with my fingers and just whack on a heap of clips.
Reminiscing the good old days, remembering to forget all the bad ones. I remember when college seemed so important, but is it worth it? Been wondering what truly matters to me. I know for sure it's not a fancy degree. I'd like to do what I love, but what if I'm not good enough? Split personality, sometimes sour, sometimes sweet. And M. Night Shyamalan story.
Okay, that'll do. Cool. Now take it back over to the machine and top stitch at around 1/8 of an inch all the way around both ends.
I need an intervention, divine intervention, you know. Only in my crucial moments do they pay attention carefully. The shadows of my past
Okay, we are top stitched. Now what we're going to do is attach our zipper heads. So what I want to do is fold my bag in half, wrong sides together, and line up these bottom edges with each other, and then make sure that my zipper tape is the same length on both ends. So I'm just going to line it up and give it a snip. And same thing on this side. Line up those bottom edges best I can. Zipper tape, I've got a lot of thread there too I need to be careful of. And trim that tape down so both ends are the same length and get rid of some of those threads. Cool. Now I can attach my zipper heads. So I usually use a zipper jig, but let's see how I go doing it this way. So I'm going to be holding it so that's the front, the bit with the tab is the front, and there's a rounded edge. I'm going to place that rounded edge with the right side facing me and poke up one end of the zipper, then grab the other side and poke it up the other side. And if you've got a jig, then feel free to use the jig, which I might have to. Let's see how much I have to mess around with this. And poke that side up. There you go. And pull it on. I used to be really good at it, but then I started using the jig all the time. Nah, cool. Okay, so let's give it a crack on this end and see how I go. So rounded edge, one end in, other side in, push, and I think I got it. She's good, still got it. And then I have them on. So now I'm going to take it over to the machine and I'm just going to stitch across that zipper tape so that when I turn the bag back out, I don't accidentally lose one of those zipper ends. I don't think you need to watch me do that. So I'm just going to pop over, do that, and I'll be back. So really make sure that you do take a minute to go and stitch across your zipper, because now we are going to open the bag up and turn it inside out like that. So you don't want your zipper heads flying off, because that would suck, especially if you struggled to put them on, because there definitely is a knack to it that takes a bit of practice. Cool, now I'm going to zip that up part way at least. Now we're going to box the corners. So I'm going to turn my bag sideways. So this is the base of it. Stick my fingers in that hole and line up the zipper teeth with the bottom snip center mark on my bottom panel, like that. And then whack some clips along there. So it's just nice and even. Nice and centered. And whack some clips on there to hold that in place. Like that. And then same thing to the other edge. Turn it around. This is the base. I've got the zipper here facing me. Stick my fingers in there, open it up, and then line up those teeth with that center snip on the bottom panel and whack some clips in there. And then we're going to take this over to the machine and we're going to box these bottoms. So we're just going to stitch along these edges and then we'll come back and whack some binding tape on there. So we're going to be at around 3/8 of an inch and just make sure that you're catching both sides. So let's go do that. Okay, my stitch length is around 3.5 and I'm just squishing my bag down to make room, make it fit. And I'm sewing from my edge where I can see the zipper tape. Gonna pop that under the good 3/8 and back stitch. Set down, make sure the foot's down, back stitch. Now I'm actually going to have to go a little bit wider here because my lining was a bit short, but we are going to wax some binding tape on there as well. So I think I'll be right. And then other side. Now, if you need to go over a few times, then do that. Just make sure that you're catching both sides. But yeah, again, I'm going to put binding tape on. So there is some room for error, thankfully, because I'm a bit wonky. Okay, let's go wax some binding tape on there. Okay, there's my corners done. Now I've gone ahead and just trimmed away the excess zipper tape on both ends, and I had to make some bias tape, although I didn't cut on the bias. Naughty. But anyway, I couldn't find mine, so I've made some. Now I'm going to place it over, I'm going to fold in the ends and place it over that raw edge and wax some clips on there. Fold it over on that end, place it over the raw edge and clips. Have my clips all facing the same way. And that will cover up that raw edge like that. And then pop it over this way, same thing. Fold in that end, fold it over that raw edge. At least when you make it yourself out of the same fabric, you can make it, you know, as wide as you want as well. I've made it quite wide just so I make sure I get all those raw edges covered up. And that way. Being such a short end, I don't think it matters too much that I didn't cut it on the bias. Okay, now I'm going to take that back over to the sewing machine and just stitch that down, and then we can give it a bit of a hit with the iron and have a good look. Now I'm going to take the time to swap over to an orange thread so I don't have an ugly black line running along there. We've come too far to cut corners. Okay. Let's do that. Okay, like I said, I swapped out to an orange thread. Pop that under there. Start with my needle in my work. Foot down, and I'm at around a 4 for my stitch length, just because I don't want it pulling too tight. And then carefully work my way across, making sure that my zipper heads are right up and out of my way. Cool. And then the other side the same. So there's our bottoms all done. Now we're going to turn it out and have a look. So exciting. So it's just a matter of flipping it out the right way. Pushing those bottom corners out. So exciting. So there she is, all done, all ironed out. Now look at what shape and structure that we got with using that decovil, like to just hold it, and she just sits so pretty on her shoes. She's got shoes. So I am pretty chuffed with myself right now. I had so much fun drafting that up and making it with you today. Now there's a heap of other cool bags on my page, and if you haven't hit that like and subscribe button yet, then like and subscribe and you'll be able to see all that other cool content. Okay, peeps, I'm done. I need a glass of wine. So have a great day, and remember, it's only fabric. We can always buy more, and I'm sure we will. Okay, see you next time. Bye. Bugger.